Oh, really?
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The first item on this before our council is to present a comprehensive plan rezoning request. It's a public hearing. I'll have the clerk read the notice so that we can publicly.
We got rid of the bloody.
That's later.
Okay. You have any go?
Yeah, and if you can't hear her, let us know and she'll stand up.
I have a very quiet voice, so I'll stand. The purpose of the public hearing is to consider a proposed amendment.
Speak up a little bit more for me, please.
The purpose of the public hearing is to consider a proposed amendment to the Town of Grand Rapids Comprehensive Plan and rezoning and receive public comments on the following. An application has been filed by Bullseye Golf Club requesting an amendment to the future land use map of the comprehensive plan. The petitioner requests that the future land use map be amended to change the land use designation of approximately 4.225 acre of the parcel of land identified as parcel number 0701048. Property address 2800 Ridgewood Trail, Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin 54494. From recreation and open space to higher density residential. An application has been filed by Bullseye Golf Club for the rezoning of approximately 1.528 acres of the parcel of land identified as parcel number 0701048, property address 2800 Ridgewood Trail, Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin 54494, from R2S residential, one family, to R3 residential, multiple family.
Thank you, Lisa. The process of our public hearing is that I will ask for those that wish to speak against, and then those to speak in forward. First, what we usually do is we ask the petitioner if there's any changes or any other comments that you want to make prior to this. And if there's none, then we'll go right on to the public hearing. Cool. All right. I'll ask up to 3 times, and we'll make sure that you have your at least 3 minutes worth of time, if that's what you want. So anybody wishing to speak, you need to stand, announce your name and your address for the clerk to record it, and then speak your comments to the board. Anybody wish to start?
Is it against or for?
These would be against. Anybody wishing to speak against?
Trying to get this all away. Just a second, yes. Not necessarily against. As I talk to most people here, we're concerned about the coronavirus and having a meeting of more than 10 people. My mother-in-law, Rita Newman, lives at, I think it's 2720, the last house that's closest to Bullseye Country Club. She is very concerned and would like to participate in this, but because of her age, she does not want to jeopardize herself by coming to this meeting. And all we're asking for is this meeting to be postponed for 1 month so we can try to either have it where you have Zoom or whatever you call it, where my wife would be at home with her mom so she can participate that way, or possibly resolve with a meeting before that. As I talked to Mr. Moffett this morning, it sounds like he's willing to meet with the property owners on Ridgewood Trail.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else wish to speak against? Second time, go ahead and name for the record, please, sir. Address?
Ron Roth, 2510 Ridgewood Trail. And I would like to echo Mike's comments. I agree completely with him and would hope that the board would see fit to postpone this for 30 days so we can get over this virus issue.
Anybody else wishing to speak? Second call, anybody else wishing to speak? Third and final call, anybody wish to speak against either of the 2 items for Bullseye Country Club? Hearing none, I'll call the against part of it closed. Anybody in the audience wish to speak in favor of it? Go ahead, sir, name for the record.
Good evening, my name is John Moffett. I am a 20-year resident of Ridgewood Trail. I'm also a potential buyer of one of the properties that were showed you tonight, and I'm also president of Bullseye Golf Club, a job that I took last July when Bullseye was near bankruptcy, And with the help of Mike Bovee and Brian Slinkman and the rest of the board, we put together a plan to save Bullseye Golf Club. That plan was approved by the Bullseye members, 99% yes, and it was in 3 phases. Phase 1 was to move to a public golf course, which we have done, and we are, when all this is over, we'll open as a public golf course. Phase 2 was to sell the 5 riverfront lots that Bullseye has had up for sale for approximately 10 years. It was rezoned by Grand Rapids as residential. And the third part of the plan to save Bullseye is to sell Tri-City Golf Club in 2021. So we're here tonight to talk about the riverfront lots and what has changed in the 10 years since the last time it was rezoned as residential. We are asking for a change in zoning to allow for 2 high-end, 0 lot line residences to be built on what is lot number 1, is that correct? So we are basically asking to have, as things have changed, there's 1 outlot in that process, but that would mean there would be 6 families added to Ridgewood Trail versus the 5 lots that were zoned for single-family residences. We believe this will add about $1.5 million of assessed valuation to the Grand Rapids tax rolls. And as Bullseye Golf Club is willing to move the entrance of Bullseye onto Airport to reduce the traffic on Ridgewood Trail. So there'll be less truck traffic, less car traffic, so the residents on Ridgewood Trail would benefit, we believe benefit, and that's us trying to be a good neighbor with people on Ridgewood Trail, of which I am one. So we think it's a positive.
All right. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of it? That was the second call. The third call, anybody wishing to speak in favor of it? Hearing no other comments to be had, I will close the public hearing and actually open up the town board meeting. First item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Dan?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Second item, approve the agenda for the meeting. Any comments? Third item, approve minutes from March 10th, 2020, town board meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve. I'll second.
Motion by Andrew, seconded by William to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have an aye? Any opposed? No opposed. Item 4, reports from departments. Those are placed in front of you. We'll have no oral reports this evening. So we'll move on to item number 5. Consider a possible action on resolution 2020-13, Shane Roosh, the Grand Pikes First Edition Certified Survey Map, pursuant to ordinance 51.7, land identified as parcels number 0700988. This action was approved about a year ago by the town board, but the paperwork was never signed within its legal time frame, so the item had to come back to the town board. That's why it's on your agenda. Is that correct, Patty?
That's correct.
Is there any discussion or comments or motions?
I can make that motion to approve Resolution 2020-13.
I'll second it.
Motion by Patty, seconded by Dan, by a hair. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Have an aye, any opposed? No opposed. And Lisa, you have the documents that we need to have signed, correct? Okay. Item number 6 is consider a possible, yeah, that's right, 6. You're on 6 now, right? Consider a possible action on resolution 2020-14, the Bullseye Golf Course Certified Survey Map, pursuant to ordinance 51.7, land identified as parcel 0701048, located at 2800 Ridgewood Trail, Wisconsin Rapids. That's the Certified map.
I'll make a motion to table, resolution 2020-14.
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion has been tabled, a motion to table and discussion on it. Yeah, I guess I'm a little confused why we would do this one. Go ahead, Dan, you have a comment?
And same thing, I mean, I want to be clear from what I'm seeing, the reason we want to table it is for what reason?
Well, I guess I've received several calls from individuals on this project in regards to people wanting to speak about the hearing and speak on this issue, and they're concerned about voicing their opinion to us on this before we make any decisions. Their concern is with the coronavirus and their advanced age situation, them coming out, they're putting themselves at risk. I'm not against what they're doing. Per se, it looks like a great project. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I'm also not living over there on Ridgewood Trail either. I'd like to hear from everybody that does want to speak to us about all of these issues so we can kind of encompass this in one thing. It looks like a great project that they're doing, and I hope we don't have to hold them up too long here, but I think that there are people that have reached out to us and want to speak to us about this and legitimately have some concerns on why they can't.
Thank you for your comment, Andrew. My comment would be if we were going to table anything, I would think it'd be more appropriate to table item 8, which is actually the discussion about the residential 2 parcels going and its identification of it going to multifamily rather than this one. This is just, actually it's just the map of the sites.
Mr.
Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, may I make a point of order?
Sure.
I believe, could I have the motion read to me?
Yes, Andrew made the motion to table resolution 2020-14 for further discussion.
So if I may, I think I'm correct in this, the proper order is to a time certain has to be developed. How long is the person that made the motion decided that they want this to go for 30 days to the next meeting until something is resolved? So it has to be to a time certain?
I believe you're correct, William. The motion would have to be a little more definite as to how long, to the next
month.
Next Sunday date or what?
Next month's meeting.
So 30 days?
So just till May's meeting.
Okay.
Make a comment.
Go ahead, Patty.
I just want to make a comment from the Planning Commission meeting last night. This particular agenda item is just to, as Arnie had indicated, the lots that are going to be created from the certified survey map. And so these lots were actually created in 2010. It's just that they did not have the correct paperwork in order to have it move forward into like the residential. Right now it's zoned as open space. And so it needed to have the final paperwork put in there as residential. So it was previously approved in 2010 as residential, it's just that the paperwork wasn't correct. And so that's part of what we did last night as far as paper cleanup.
Is there any other comments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, William.
I am voting in favor of the motion to table to a certain time. And because I heard tonight, and I also heard last night, that there are people that are not here because of age or even because they don't want to participate because of the virus. And that's one of the items that needed to be discussed because one of the lots does concern a person that is not here. And I believe that that's why it's being tabled, and I'm voting in favor of the motion to table for the next meeting.
Go ahead, Daniel.
My understanding is number 6, and I'll jump ahead, number 7, is both to clean up the survey map.
Yes.
It's 8 and 9, which is where they're looking to take some action,
As far as result.
as far as the rezoning,
That is
right?
correct, yes.
Okay, all right, so,
All right, so the motion was made and seconded, and it would be to the next meeting, is that what you said, Andrew?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I'm
I'm
opposed.
opposed. 3 opposed, motion denied. Fails. We'll move to item 7. Consider possible action on resolution 2020-12, Bullseye Country Club Certified Survey Map. Pursuant to ordinance 51.7. Land identifies as parcel 070371, 07000376, 0701048, located at 2800 Ridgewood Trail, Wisconsin Rapids. And again, that is from the Planning Commission, their request to,
I'll make a motion to approve consideration and possible action of resolution 2012.
I will second that one.
Discussion?
motion by Dan, seconded by Patty. Discussion, Andrew.
I guess the reason why I'm voting against these is significantly just because they are in the resolution and they are items of discussion that people may have some public comment on. I understand they might not be as contentious as the other items, but they still are part of that. So I kind of would like to hear from those folks on what they are. I will be voting not to approve.
Thank you. Patty?
And I'm voting in favor of it only because of the fact, again, it's to clean up paperwork of things that were already approved back in 2010. So that is why I am voting in favor of it.
William?
I am voting in favor of the motion. I'm not voting against the motion to have this resolution go forward. For the reasons that this is what it's all about. The public should be here, but they can't be here because of some restrictions. And that's what this meeting was all about. Last night, it wasn't a cleanup as indicated by one of the supervisors. This was a cleanup. This was a recommendation that was supposed to be made to the town board. And those recommendations were not spelled out the way I proposed it was. These people said that they was going to have another meeting, and it was agreed upon that they would have another meeting and have some of this stuff out, and they probably would be in favor of it. But they just don't have their residents together, and I'm voting against the motion.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, the motion was to approve by Patty, seconded by Dan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
3, 4, 2 negative, and it does carry. So we'll move to item 7. 8. All right, here's now order.
Yes.
Consider possible action on resolution 2020-09, application for the proposed zoning amendment to change from R2S, residential one family, to R3 multifamily relating to property owned by Bullseye Country Club, described as approximately 1.528 acres, identified by parcel number 0701048, located at 2800 Ridgewood Trail. And that is the larger parcel that is closest to the country club, with the exception of the outlot which is being held into perpetuity. Is that correct?
The rezoning is just for lot 1 of the CFL.
Right.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we table this consideration and possible action at this time. Again, just for the reasons that were until the May meeting.
I'll second.
And then, and again, just for those reasons that it's going to give people time to talk and understand what's going on. My understanding from several conversations today was people were just unaware of what the plan was, and that they they just want more information in that, and so, and they couldn't be here tonight to speak up against it, so I'm gonna ask that we table it for 30 days.
I second.
You're till May, you got the date?
Motion by Dan, seconded by Patty, discussion.
I will be voting in favor of the motion.
Same.
And I truly understand everybody's position on this, and I'm also voting in favor of the motion to table it for 1 month. You understand we had to hold the public hearing because it was scheduled. Any other discussion? Patty?
Yes, I received a lot of phone calls this evening, well, actually all day long.
Yeah.
And just wanted to say that the majority of the people were not against this, it's just that they need information. They just had questions like, how is it going to benefit the community? Other questions that were, they wanted to hear everybody's question because that may spur other questions, is what they said. They wanted to see what the whole plan is. They wanted to, and thank you for giving us the pictures of the proposed duplexes, because that is information that they're looking for, to have a visual of what the duplexes may look like. They had questions in regards to property values. Would it increase it? Would it decrease? They wanted to, they just had a bunch of questions like that. But I think that you all have the information. It's just that they would like to hear it and just to be set at ease.
Any other discussion? And again, that is item number 8. Concerning the rezoning from of the 1 lot to multi-family. All in favor of the motion to table to the next month meeting, say aye.
Aye.
I have an aye. Anybody opposed? No opposed. That carries. Now, clerk is telling me that we missed up on item number 6. That was initially a table. We did not take a motion to approve it, to change it. So we need to reconsider item number 6, the 20-20-14. And that is the cleanup of the thing as presented. Was there a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
One second.
And second, motion by Dan, second by Patty. Any other discussion? And I understand that whereabouts is. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And not anybody opposed? Bill and Dan?
Yes.
All right, we clean that up. I apologize for that error on my part. Moving on to item number 9, consider possible action on resolution 2020-10, proposed comprehensive land use classification change from recreational and open space to high-density residential related to property owned by Bullseye Country Club, describes that the 4.225 acres of the parcel identifies as parcel 070148, property address 2800 Ridgewood Trail. Well, that's the remaining of that original parcel, correct?
This is to amend the comprehensive plan.
All right, that's just our motion, yes, all right.
Right.
What we have to do, correct?
So number 9 is amending the comprehensive plan, right? So in 2010, those lots were rezoned.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
All right. Okay, in 2010, those lots were rezoned to single-family residential, but the comprehensive plan was never amended to reflect that change. So it's still on the comprehensive plan as open space recreational, and it should have been changed back then to higher density residential, so that's what this is about.
And what it is, Mike, the town has a comprehensive plan for 10 years. Within that comprehensive plan, it has to designate which areas are which. When that action was taken, that information was not forwarded to the Plan Commission for them to change the document. So that was another error back in 10 years ago. So that's entirely not too particular to the item that we've tabled. So it's up to the board what you wish to do with that. It doesn't have to go forward right now if we don't want it to.
I'm gonna make a motion to table resolution 20-10.
Till next meeting?
Next week.
Second?
Also,
Dan? Discussion? Looking at
yeah,
it?
yeah, this can be done with this new plan. This is what happens when you have a new plan, and we are in the process of a new plan. Right now, as it stands, it looks like this is not in the plan in changing that from to a recreational to residential. So even last night, they said, you know, it's gonna be changed anyway, so why table this? It's, you know, if we don't discuss it, it's still gonna be changed in the new plan.
For the,
Then could I, please just, one more thing, for the record, could I have the date of when that was again, so it's in the record?
It was October 10th of 2010.
And it was said here tonight that the people who presented that plan to us didn't say it had to go to comprehensive plan?
no, I didn't hear that.
Oh, okay. Because that's not so.
All right,
I
so
would like to-
do we have a motion to table? Is that what we
Yes,
have?
you have a motion and a second.
And we had a second, is there any discussion?
I was just gonna say, I'd like to see that to be discussed and tied in with 8, just so that when it does, when we do talk about it, it's gonna be all encompassed into one meeting for the records.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No opposed. Motion carried. So basically, we are done with the action that you folks were here on. If you wish to leave, you may. We have a few other items that we must take up. Larry?
Mr. Chairman, so if I'm correct, both of the certified survey maps passed tonight, is that correct? The items 6 and 7 were the certified survey maps. I have the recordable copy with me if you'd like to sign that, or I could leave it with you and pick it up tomorrow.
We can sign it, so we only got 2 items going away, Larry?
Sure.
Okay.
I might step outside.
Yeah, you can step in the meeting room. I got the meeting room, and you can stay in there if you wish.
All right, thank you.
And if you want to stay with the Muffin, you're more than welcome to. Thank you, folks.
Number 7, what you are talking about, what was the motion on number 7?
Number 7 was to approve it, the 2012. Dan made the motion, Patty seconded to approve it, and it did pass 3-2.
All right, move right along here. The consider possible action of bidding out purchase of gravel. I'd like to go ahead and get the bid out so that if we ever do get out of this, we can get some work done. Probably 500 tons as last.
That's always what we did, right?
Yeah, 500 tons.
Did you
Up to 500 tons is what we say.
Andy, did you make a
I was gonna make the motion to open the bid.
I'll second.
Motion, Andrew, seconded by Bill. Any discussion?
Do we normally go through all the 500 tons, or?
No.
Okay,
No.
all right. Do we order it as needed?
As needed.
Okay, thank you.
As we find a project that needs it.
Okay, perfect.
Any other discussion? No, Bill? You look like you were gonna. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries to go out for bids. Item 11, consider possible action on chairman's appointments as presented to you. Is there a motion to approve the chairman's appointments for the various committees and
I'll make the motion to approve them as read, or as listed.
motion by Dan,
I can second.
second by Patty. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Have an aye, any opposed? No opposed? And then you're going to leave. Consider possible action on postponing annual town meeting. There's a couple things going on right now with the state. Currently, we have the capability of meeting on the date, which is next Tuesday. We can immediately postpone it if we wish for 30 days. However, the state is going through a process right now where they may extend that. So I would suggest if we get a motion that we incorporate the language that we would schedule it for 30 days or whatever is approved by the state, or we can meet again on that 30 days as far as.
So after, we're gonna have another town board meeting though, before the.
This is the town's annual meeting.
Right, but I mean, if we extend it for 30 days tonight,
That'll be passed.
that'll be past the next, so we could at the next board meeting set the,
Would it be? No, it's short of it.
Because for publication notices.
Yeah.
oh, we would.
But right now, if the state passes, if they change it, you may not have to meet next week. They're working on trying to possibly change it where you don't have to meet. Everybody can just automatically postpone it and possibly longer than 30. Right now, the law says you have to meet and postpone, but they may change that where you don't need to meet. So essentially, the motion, I guess, could be to, if necessary, to meet,
And postpone it.
postpone it. If the law changes, follow whatever they.
Follow the
says.
recommended guidelines?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
If I may just say, this is same as a board of review. You meet because assessor isn't
Right,
ready,
exactly.
you postpone.
Yeah. And that's
And that's the way it would be
we might
here
not
in
change
statute.
that.
Unless they change it, unless the law changes, which it may. And Nick is fully aware of that. So did we get your motion, was your language, Lisa?
I guess the motion to, if necessary, meet next Tuesday and postpone for 30 days unless legislation changes otherwise.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Dan, seconded by Patty. Any other discussion back there? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? No opposed? Item 13, Bill, this is pertaining to what you asked us to consider. You basically from your recycling and solid waste committee meeting.
I'd like to table that to the next meeting, and there's no rush on it because we're not doing anything. I just want to make sure that the minutes were, so we could talk about them and the process.
Motion by Bill to table to the next meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Andrew. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? March disbursement vouchers. Any questions?
Nope.
We have one, and, do we take a motion on that or not? No, we don't. All right, then we have one request for operator license, KCD McLean, and for the store, for a 1-year operator's license.
I can make a motion to approve.
Motion by Patty,
A second.
second by Dan. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Anybody on the board want to make any comments? If not, we'll move on to future agenda items, and we have those ready. And item 19, the town board will vote to move into closed session pursuant to statute 1985, print 1, print C, which reads, consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data for any public employees or which the government body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility for the purpose of considering a deputy clerk position and additional compensation for staff related to the 2020 spring election. Who's going to make that motion?
Make that motion.
Patty, seconded by Andrew. Roll call vote. Dan.
Aye.
Patty.
Aye.
William.
Nay.
Andrew. Nystrom. Aye. We're in closed session. We'll take a break and we'll sign those papers.